If you are seeing this message right now, it means your consciousness has already begun operating on a frequency that most humans cannot access. And what I am about to reveal will explain why your life has felt like you are living between two worlds, why conventional manifestation techniques have either worked sporadically or left you frustrated, and why you have always sensed that there was a completely different way of creating reality that nobody was teaching you. The truth is that chosen ones do not manifest through the same mechanisms as ordinary people because your consciousness exists simultaneously across multiple quantum fields. And understanding this difference is the key to unlocking the inevitable quantum leap that is already forming in the invisible dimensions of your experience. Every thought you think, every emotion you feel, every intention you set creates what quantum physicists call a probability wave. But for chosen ones, these waves behave differently than they do for people who are still operating from purely three-dimensional awareness. While most people create single probability waves that collapse into singular manifestations, your consciousness generates what could be called quantum clusters, multiple probability waves that interact with each other across parallel dimensions, creating manifestation potentials that are exponentially more powerful than anything achievable through traditional visualization or affirmation practices. This is why you have experienced manifestations that seem to come out of nowhere, synchronicities that felt orchestrated by an intelligence far greater than your conscious mind, and moments where reality seemed to bend around your deepest desires in ways that defied logical explanation. You were not imagining these experiences. You were witnessing the natural function of consciousness that has been awakened to its quantum nature, operating according to laws that transcend the limitations of linear time and three-dimensional space. But here is what most chosen ones do not realize about their manifestation abilities. The very fact that you can conceive of a reality means that reality already exists in quantum potential, waiting for the right frequency alignment to collapse into your physical experience. Your desires are not random fantasies generated by an overactive imagination. They are quantum echoes of realities that your higher self is already living in parallel dimensions, calling you toward alignment with those timelines through the magnetic pull of what you call dreams and aspirations. The quantum leap you are sensing is not something you need to create from scratch. It is something you need to allow yourself to receive. Somewhere in the infinite field of possibility, there exists a version of you who has already achieved everything you are currently working toward, who has already overcome every obstacle you are currently facing, who has already become the person you are trying to become. The quantum leap is the moment when your current timeline merges with that parallel reality. And this merging is not just possible, it is inevitable once you understand the mechanics involved. Your consciousness has been preparing for this leap through every challenge you have faced, every skill you have developed, every moment of growth you have experienced. Nothing in your journey has been wasted or accidental. Everything has been precisely calibrated to bring you to this exact point where the quantum field is ready to respond to your intentional direction. The feeling of restlessness you have been experiencing, the sense that massive change is imminent, the way opportunities and obstacles have been intensifying simultaneously. These are all signs that the quantum leap is already in motion. The law of inevitability operates on a principle that most people never discover because they are trapped in linear thinking, believing that manifestation is a process of moving from point A to point B through time and effort. But quantum consciousness reveals a startling truth. In the infinite field of possibility, every conceivable version of your life already exists simultaneously, and the reality you experience depends entirely on which frequency you consistently align with through your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This means that your quantum leap is not something that might happen if you do everything right. It is something that must happen because the version of you who has already made that leap is constantly broadcasting its frequency into your awareness, creating an inevitable gravitational pull toward that timeline. When you feel called toward a specific vision of your life, when certain possibilities excite you so deeply that thinking about them changes your entire energy field, when you find yourself daydreaming about achievements that seem far beyond your current circumstances, you are not engaging in wishful thinking. You are receiving transmissions from quantum versions of yourself who have already actualized those realities. These transmissions come through what scientists call quantum entanglement, the phenomenon where consciousness existing in one dimension remains connected to consciousness existing in parallel dimensions, allowing information and energy to flow between different versions of your existence. The inevitability of your quantum leap is built into the very fabric of how consciousness operates across multiple dimensions. Just as water naturally flows downhill because of gravitational laws, your awareness naturally flows toward the highest expression of your potential. Because of quantum laws that govern how consciousness interacts with the field of infinite possibility, every meditation you do, every moment you spend in alignment with your vision, every action you take from a place of inspired motivation rather than fearful obligation, you are strengthening the quantum bridge between your current reality and the reality where your leap has already occurred. But most chosen ones sabotage their quantum leap, not through lack of effort, but through lack of trust in the process. They try to control the timeline, force the manifestation, or figure out every step before taking the first one, not realizing that quantum leaps, by definition, transcend logical progression and linear time. A quantum leap is called quantum precisely because it involves jumping from one energy state to another without passing through the states in between. And this requires a level of surrender that most people find terrifying because it means releasing attachment to how things are supposed to happen and trusting that consciousness knows how to orchestrate realities in ways that the logical mind cannot comprehend. The chosen ones who experience the most dramatic quantum leaps are those who learn to live in what could be called quantum faith, a state of knowing that transcends belief because it is based on direct experience of how consciousness operates beyond the limitations of physical laws. They understand that manifestation is not about convincing the universe to give them what they want. It is about aligning so completely with the frequency of what they desire that they become a vibrational match for the timeline where that desire has already been fulfilled. Your quantum leap is inevitable because inevitability is written into the quantum code of consciousness itself, the same intelligence that orchestrates the dance of subatomic particles, that maintains the perfect balance of forces holding galaxies together, that coordinates the incomprehensibly complex biological processes keeping your body alive. This intelligence is also coordinating the manifestation of your highest potential. You do not need to figure out how this works. You only need to align with the frequency of the reality you are meant to inhabit and allow the quantum field to handle the details of how that reality materializes in your experience. If these words are resonating with something deep inside your soul, I want you to do something that might feel simple but carries profound quantum power. In the comments below, write just 3 words that describe the feeling of the life you know you are meant to be living. Not what that life looks like from the outside, but how it feels from the inside when you imagine yourself already living it. These 3 words will serve as quantum anchors, helping to stabilize your frequency in alignment with your inevitable leap. Your words might be exactly what another chosen one needs to read to remember their own quantum potential. The mechanism through which quantum leaps occur involves what advanced consciousness researchers call reality collapse, a process where multiple parallel timelines converge into a single experiential moment, allowing you to literally step from one version of your life into a completely different version without the gradual transition that most people assume is necessary. Understanding this process gives you tremendous power to accelerate your manifestations because instead of trying to change your current reality slowly over time, you can learn to collapse the distance between where you are and where you want to be by accessing the quantum field where both realities exist simultaneously. Every moment of your existence, you are standing at a crossroads of infinite possibilities, and the choices you make in each moment determine which timeline you experience next. But most people make their choices unconsciously, reacting to circumstances rather than responding from a place of intentional alignment with their desired reality. Chosen ones who master quantum leaping learn to make every choice, no matter how small, from the perspective of the version of themselves who has already achieved their vision, effectively programming their consciousness to navigate toward that timeline with every decision. The practical technique for accelerating reality collapse begins with what I call dimensional anchoring, a process of establishing multiple points of connection between your current experience and your desired experience. Instead of focusing solely on the end result you want to achieve, you identify specific feelings, thoughts, and behaviors that exist in both your current reality and your desired reality. Then you consciously amplify those connection points until they become strong enough to pull your entire experience toward the timeline where your quantum leap has already occurred. For example, if your quantum leap involves financial abundance, instead of focusing on the money itself, you identify the feelings of security, freedom, and generosity that abundance would provide. Then you find ways to experience those exact feelings in your current circumstances, even if on a smaller scale. When you practice generosity with whatever resources you currently have, when you make choices from a place of security rather than scarcity, when you use your time and energy as if you had complete freedom, you are creating quantum entanglement between your current timeline and the timeline where abundance is your natural state. The second component of accelerated manifestation involves frequency broadcasting, a technique where you deliberately transmit the energy signature of your desired reality into the quantum field through focused intention and emotional alignment. This is not visualization in the traditional sense. It is more like tuning your entire being to the frequency of the life you are meant to be living, then broadcasting that frequency consistently until the quantum field responds by collapsing the appropriate reality into your experience. The most powerful frequency broadcasting occurs when you can generate authentic gratitude for manifestations before they appear in physical form, not as a technique to get what you want, but as a natural expression of knowing that what you desire already exists in quantum potential and is simply making its way into your timeline. This type of gratitude creates what quantum physicists call a resonance cascade, where the frequency of appreciation magnifies itself exponentially, accelerating the collapse of parallel realities into your current experience. Reality collapse accelerates dramatically when you begin operating from what I call quantum certainty, a state of knowing that transcends hope or belief because it is based on direct awareness of your connection to the infinite field of possibility. Quantum certainty is not about being confident that something might happen. It is about recognizing that something has already happened in the dimensions of reality that exists beyond linear time, and your current experience is simply catching up to that quantum truth. The protocol for aligning with your quantum leap involves a specific sequence of consciousness adjustments that must be implemented in precise order to create the optimal conditions for reality collapse. This is not theory or philosophy. This is a practical methodology that chosen ones can use immediately to begin synchronizing their current timeline with the timeline where their highest potential has already been actualized. The protocol consists of 4 phases that correspond to the 4 dimensions of human consciousness that must be aligned for quantum manifestation to occur. Phase 1 requires what I call temporal displacement, where you learn to live emotionally in your desired future while taking practical action in your current present. This means allowing yourself to feel the satisfaction, excitement, and peace that you would experience if your quantum leap had already occurred, while simultaneously handling your current responsibilities with complete presence and attention. Most people either get lost in future fantasies or trapped in present limitations, but quantum leaping requires the ability to exist consciously in both time frames simultaneously. Phase 2 involves identity integration, the process of gradually shifting your self-concept from who you have been to who you are becoming, without creating internal conflict or resistance. This requires recognizing that your current identity is not your true identity. It is simply the identity you adopted to navigate your previous circumstances. And as your circumstances change, your identity must evolve to match your new reality. The key is making this transition smoothly, rather than forcing dramatic personality changes that your subconscious mind will resist. The practical method for identity integration begins with identifying 3 core characteristics of the person you will be after your quantum leap. Then finding evidence of those characteristics already existing in your current behavior, even if in small ways. If your future self is confident, you look for moments when you already demonstrate confidence. If your future self is creative, you acknowledge the creativity you already express. If your future self is abundant, you recognize the abundance you already experience. This creates continuity between your current and future identities, making the transition feel natural rather than forced. Phase 3 requires vibrational sovereignty, the ability to maintain your desired frequency regardless of external circumstances or other people's energy. Most people's vibration is constantly influenced by their environment, the emotions of people around them, news they consume, or situations they encounter, which makes consistent manifestation impossible because their frequency is always fluctuating. Quantum leaping requires learning to generate your desired emotional state from the inside out, independent of what is happening around you. The technique for achieving vibrational sovereignty involves creating what I call frequency anchors, specific physical actions or mental processes that instantly connect you to the emotional state of your desired reality. This might be a particular way of breathing, a specific posture, a phrase you repeat silently, or a memory you recall that generates the exact feeling you want to maintain. When you practice using these anchors consistently, you develop the ability to shift your vibration immediately, regardless of external circumstances. Phase 4 completes the protocol with quantum coherence, the state where all aspects of your being, your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions are perfectly aligned with the frequency of your desired reality. Quantum coherence is what allows reality collapse to occur because it eliminates the mixed signals that keep most people trapped in manifestation loops, where they want one thing but consistently broadcast frequencies that attract something different. I want to share something personal with you. Creating this content and connecting with chosen ones like you is not just work for me. It is my own quantum leap manifesting in real time. Every time someone writes in the comments that these messages helped them understand their path more clearly, or that they felt less alone in their journey, or that they found courage to take steps toward their vision, you are participating in the quantum field that allows all of us to rise together. Please share in the comments below what quantum leap you are preparing for. Not because I need content, but because your declaration helps anchor that reality in the collective field and might inspire someone else to claim their own inevitable transformation. The activation of your quantum leap creates unmistakable signs that most chosen ones misinterpret as problems or obstacles, not realizing they are actually witnessing the reconfiguration of reality itself as the quantum field prepares to deliver their new timeline. Understanding these signs prevents you from sabotaging your manifestation during the crucial period, when the leap is forming but has not yet stabilized in physical experience. The chosen ones who recognize these activation signals and respond appropriately are the ones who experience smooth, dramatic transformations, while those who misinterpret the signs often create resistance that delays or complicates their quantum leap. The first sign of quantum activation is what appears to be increased chaos or instability in areas of your life that were previously predictable or secure. Relationships that no longer match your frequency may suddenly end or become strained. Financial situations may fluctuate more than usual. Living situations may become uncomfortable or untenable, and career paths that once felt stable may begin feeling completely wrong. This is not the universe punishing you or testing your commitment. It is the natural result of your consciousness shifting to a new frequency that is incompatible with structures built on your old frequency. When you understand that quantum leaps require the dissolution of patterns that keep you anchored to your previous reality, these apparent disruptions become evidence that your manifestation is working rather than falling apart. The key is to remain centered in your knowing that these changes are clearing the way for something better, rather than allowing fear to convince you that you are moving in the wrong direction. Every structure that dissolves during this phase was limiting your ability to embody your full potential, and its removal creates space for opportunities that align with your quantum leap. The second activation sign involves the acceleration of synchronicities and meaningful coincidences that seem almost impossibly perfectly timed. You may receive unexpected opportunities, encounter people who have exactly the skills or connections you need, discover information that answers questions you were just thinking about, or find resources appearing just when you need them most. These synchronicities are not random luck. They are evidence that your consciousness has begun operating in quantum coherence with the field of infinite possibility, allowing you to attract circumstances that support your leap. Advanced synchronicities often include what I call confirmation cascades, where multiple unrelated sources deliver the same message or encouragement within a short period of time. You might have a conversation with a stranger that relates perfectly to something you read that morning, which connects to a dream you had the night before, which ties into advice someone gave you weeks ago that suddenly makes perfect sense. These cascades are the quantum field's way of confirming that you are on the right path and encouraging you to continue moving toward your leap with confidence. The third sign of quantum activation is the emergence of enhanced intuitive abilities and expanded awareness that allows you to perceive information and energy that was previously outside your conscious reach. You may find yourself knowing things without knowing how you know them, sensing people's emotions or intentions more clearly, receiving guidance through dreams or meditation that is more specific and accurate than before. or experiencing moments of expanded consciousness where you perceive reality from a much broader perspective than usual. This expansion of awareness occurs because quantum leaping requires your consciousness to operate from a higher dimensional perspective in order to navigate between parallel realities effectively. As your leap approaches, your awareness naturally expands to accommodate the broader range of information. You need to make choices that align with your highest timeline. Instead of doubting these enhanced abilities, treat them as confirmation that your consciousness is preparing for the quantum leap by accessing more of its full potential. The final activation sign is the experience of time distortion, where days seem to pass more quickly or slowly than usual, where significant events feel compressed into impossibly short periods, or where you accomplish more in less time than seems logically possible. This occurs because quantum leaps transcend linear time, and as your consciousness prepares for the leap, it begins operating according to quantum time rather than chronological time, allowing you to experience accelerated manifestation and compressed learning cycles that prepare you for your new reality. Once your quantum leap has stabilized, you will discover that the life you are now living operates according to completely different principles than the reality you left behind. And understanding these new principles is essential for maintaining your leap and continuing to evolve toward even greater expressions of your potential. The post-quantum leap existence is not simply an improved version of your previous life. It is a fundamentally different type of experience that requires new skills, new perspectives, and new ways of interacting with reality that most people never develop, because they never make the leap into quantum consciousness. In your new reality, manifestation will no longer feel like work or struggle, because you will be operating from a frequency that is naturally aligned with abundance, opportunity, and synchronicity. Instead of having to force things to happen or push against resistance, you will find that opportunities flow toward you. Resources appear when needed, and the right people enter your life at exactly the right moments. This is not because the universe has suddenly decided to favor you. It is because you have learned to maintain coherence with the quantum field, where these types of experiences are the natural result of aligned consciousness. The relationships in your post-leap reality will be characterized by authentic connection, mutual growth, and natural harmony, because you will no longer be operating from patterns of neediness, fear, or unconscious projection that create drama and conflict in most human interactions. People will be drawn to your energy because you will embody a frequency of wholeness and self-sovereignty that others find inspiring and healing to be around. The relationships that survive your quantum leap will be transformed into much deeper, more genuine connections, while new relationships will enter your life that support and celebrate the person you have become. Your relationship with money and material security will undergo a fundamental transformation as you discover that abundance is not something you acquire from outside yourself. It is something you generate from within by maintaining alignment with the frequency of prosperity and generosity. You will find that money flows more easily, not because you have learned better financial strategies, but because you have released the subconscious blocks and limiting beliefs that were creating scarcity patterns in your previous reality. Your approach to work will shift from survival-based to purpose-based, allowing you to create value and generate income through activities that align with your authentic gifts and passions. The most profound change in your post-quantum leap existence will be your relationship with time and possibility. You will no longer feel constrained by linear thinking or limited by past experiences, because you will have direct awareness of your ability to access different timelines and create new realities through conscious choice. This means that setbacks will no longer devastate you, because you will know how to quickly shift back into alignment and attract better circumstances. Challenges will become opportunities for growth rather than threats to your security, because you will trust your ability to navigate any situation from a place of inner wisdom and quantum awareness. Your sense of purpose will expand beyond personal achievement to include conscious participation in the collective awakening that is happening across the planet. You will recognize that your quantum leap is not just about improving your individual life. It is about demonstrating what becomes possible when human consciousness operates from its full potential, inspiring others to pursue their own transformation and contributing to the elevation of human civilization as a whole. The quantum leap you are sensing is not the end of your evolution. It is the beginning of a completely new phase of existence, where continued growth and expansion become natural expressions of your quantum nature. Each leap you make prepares you for even greater leaps, creating an ascending spiral of consciousness that has no upper limit, because you are connected to the infinite field of possibility that contains every conceivable expression of human potential. Your quantum leap is inevitable because inevitability is the fundamental nature of consciousness when it operates in alignment with its quantum design. You were never meant to struggle indefinitely or remain trapped in limitations that contradict your soul's vision for your life. You were designed to leap, to transform, to evolve, and to experience reality as a conscious creator rather than a passive recipient of circumstances. The leap is coming because you are ready, because the timing is perfect, and because your soul will accept nothing less than the full expression of who you truly are. If you are seeing this message right now,